So we're going to talk about graphing a polynomial function, and so in this video we're going to give you steps on how to graph a polynomial function. So let me scroll this up. They have 7 steps listed in the book, and I'll do 7. I'm just going to talk about them. But first, find the intercepts. You're going to find both the y and x intercepts. All right. 2. Check for symmetry. Now, this one's always kind of a little tricky. Basically, what I tell students is, if it's even, that's really helpful. If it's odd, it's not as helpful. So I usually just, if I'm graphing them, I check to see if it's even, and by that I mean an even function. Okay, so you might remember an even function is if you find f of the opposite of x and it equals f of x. If you know it's an even function, it's symmetric, about the y-axis. And the reason that's helpful is if you know you have an even function and you find a point on the left of the y-axis, then you know you've got one on the right. So it kind of cuts your work in half. You get 2 points for the price of 1. If it's an odd function, I don't worry about it as much, but just so you can see, review of that, that's when you have f of the opposite of x equaling the opposite of f of x. Then it's symmetric about the origin. And about, that's my abbreviation for about. It's symmetric about the origin. To me, that's not as helpful, but maybe for you, that's helpful. So I'll let you decide. Okay. But if it's even, yeah, it definitely helps. Okay. Step 3. You're going to use multiplicities. So you use the multiplicities to find the behavior at the x-intercepts, or the zeros, if you want to talk about it that way. You'll know, okay, does it bounce off the x-axis? Is it crossing through the x-axis? Is it crossing, but it's kind of curved, kind of snaking its way through? Okay, we want to know that, so when we go to sketch a graph, remember we're doing these graphs by hand, so they're only going to be so accurate. They're not going to be beautiful graphs on a graphing calculator or technology. We're doing these by hand, so we're just, going to do our best, okay? And relaxed, try to enjoy it. I love the multiplicities. Okay, step 4. Look at the end behavior. Usually I look at the end behavior first, but, it doesn't really matter. So, because you want to know at the end, kind of at step 4, where it's right before we're going to graph, you want to know, am I going to start going down or am I going to start going up? So when we sketch one, you'll see that, but that's really what you want to know. Which way do I, start the graph off? Okay. And then step 5, we're going to sketch. And step 6, make sure your turning points are okay. So check the turning points. It's easy to get, off, and all of a sudden you've got, 7 turning points and there was only supposed to be 5 or something. We're probably not going to have that high of a degree for these ones that we're doing by hand, so probably shouldn't use numbers like 6 and 7. And then they say in the book, check it with technology. Check with technology. So if you have that, you can do that. But like I said, we're going to be doing these by hand, so graphing calculators are like $100, and, I don't expect anybody to buy that, so I'll just leave that, part up to you. If you want to check it, that's fine.